laying back nice and comfortable. Whenever you're in your Shavasana starting off, let a couple of really good deep breaths start to flow. Feel the body relaxing. Always making sure we get started from this good, comfortable place. It's a place of presence. Place of connection. No matter how crazy our day's been, here's a chance to be with our body, finally. So, our fun little intention that we're going to be playing with today are two contrasting ideas. Speed up and slow down. Just like hurry up and slow down. So often in our life, we're in one of those two zones. We're either rush, or we're like, nope, I can't do anything else the rest of the day. So we're gonna play with those two contrasting zones. It's like complete black or complete white. We're either very calmly in the stretch or we're getting some things moving. And so by kind of playing back and forth between those extremes, we get a really good chance just to be with the body, to, pick up the heart rate, feel some of the fire in our body for brief moments of time. And then we get to contrast that with just getting to slow down, just being present. And so that'll be the fun thing that will carry us through our class today. If there's any insights that you gain regarding maybe different ways that you can bring your body into greater balance in general as you go through your life, just make note of those little intuitive hints. So from here, let's start off with some good stretches for our physical body, just nice and easy. This is one of those slow parts. So let the arms start to extend all the way to the back wall. Take a slow stretch of the shoulders to the right. And just a slow off to the left. Maybe twice more to each side, just as slow, just as easy, getting the body opened up. How the breath is flowing with us. When we're right back through the center, let's begin to take the right knee into the chest. Hands can clasp around that knee, maybe add in a few ankle rolls, nice and slow circles for the foot. At least a full couple of circles to clockwise direction and a couple counterclockwise. Feel how the muscles get awakened in slightly different ways to the two directions. Eventually extending leg up to sky, grab onto the back side of the leg. Whatever helps the hamstring to get its first little wake up. So another huge inhale. Nice exhale. And let's hook this right foot to back left end. It's like a pigeon pose. You've hooked your foot to the back end by where your ears are. It should swivel out to the side like pigeon, so slide the shin in. And give that hip a couple of good breaths. Good. Take one more inhale, just nice and easy to get us started. Beautiful exhale. And let's start to free out this leg. We'll work on the second side. Left knee comes into chest. When we slowly have that one in, the ankle gets some easy circles, work through the clockwise directions a few times, and the counter. Good. Leg starts to extend up to sky when you're ready. Feel the hamstring wake up. Chance to say hello. Let's go to that first hip opener on this side. Look left heel to back right, slide the shin in. Notice how by going slower, you can feel the difference between left and right halves of the body. Sometimes when we're going so fast, we don't notice the tiny little imbalances that are naturally there. It's kind of rare to be perfectly evenly balanced. So just notice, how's the body doing? Let yourself be with the breath. Let's take 2 more huge cycles. Belly expands all the way open. Feel that easy release out. 1 more. Good. So from here, start to free out this leg, nice and easy. Drop the leg down. Good. So we're going to take a moment to be with core, our first kind of quick section, going a little bit faster, getting some heart pumping, getting our lungs to flow. So with the legs staying inside like they are, stretch the arms all the way to the back wall. Take an inhale to prep. Exhale, we're going to do a full sit-up to stretch over our toes. That's 10. Inhale back down. 9, come up. And down. 8. And down. Good. Keep on going. 7. And 6. See if you can synchronize your breath. Exhale, inhale. Here's 5. And 4. Good work. 3 more. If you're doing okay, you can always skip some if needed. And 2. And last 1. Good work. Come up to sit, kick the feet free off the front. We're going to boat pose. We can bring our arms to the outside. You can grab onto fabric or not. It'll be up to you, but float the knees. And here, let's do some bicycles. So lean back a little bit, the knees lift up past the attachment of the fabric, and we're pedaling out. Keep breathing. You can go fast if you want to, or just a nice steady pace. Good. Here's 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good work. Drop the knees for a moment. One more little strength thing here. Slide the thumbs to the back side of the fabric, pushing fabric down. Lean halfway back and grip back on. Wide legs to tilt upside down, ankles wrap. From being upside down, take fingertips behind the head. And we're going to do some crunches. I'm going to leave it up to you how many. Some of us might go with about 5. That's a pretty good number. Some of us might go more like 10. When you're ready, exhale to crunch up and down. Take it at your own rate. Deep breathe. Good. Keep going until you're satisfied. When you reach that point, this becomes hurry up, just now slow down. So when you get there, you'll feel that contrast. Still fine if you're still crunching, nothing wrong with that. Keep going if you're going. As we're in this slow part, listen to your body. Is there anything that your body's craving right now? For instance, moving into a shoulder, what you can do is just walk one hand to the mat, the long edge that's clear behind you currently. Good. Maybe it's a nice twist with both. Maybe it's clasping hands by the glutes and then letting the gravity help to pull them away. It's exploring in different ways so that you're really present with the body for this slow moment. Feel how nice it is to have this contrast going a bit slower. Notice already if you're finding spots where you chronically have been holding tension this week. Maybe it's the neck, you're trying to fight against gravity. Can you release it instead? Maybe it's the low back, in which case just the weight of your torso dropping down can be tremendously helpful. And letting this time in the inversion be up to you. Some of us will be upside down a bit longer. Some of us are satisfied, so no rush. You're staying upside down as long as your body is still benefiting by it. You're up before others. Floating child pose can be nice. Hooking the elbows, but the shoulders slide forward. So it's like you're trying to get the back into a nice stretch. It looks like most of us are starting to head out. So we'll give our head a couple of easy breaths, flipping to this upright orientation. Maybe the neck gets to roll left, right. Can we ease some of the tension right out of the body? Starting to stack the vertebrae back upright. We'll bunch up fabric to front door side of room. And then your arm that's closer to that painted mountain wall, the back wall behind you, that arm opens up or circles behind the back side of the head. We're here for a couple of breaths because we're going slower than normal. So how does your body want your arm strength to be incorporated or not? Sometimes it's like, okay, how much can I crank it out? And other days it's about certain parts of the spine being in the twist, the upper back, or even including the neck, when maybe we forget those areas a lot. One more huge breath in. Out. As we release, we're taking the twist to the second half. Again, it's the arm that's closer to that painted mountain wall. That one extends open or circles around the backside of the head. Another huge breath flows in, out. And as the arms release, we're facing back forward. We're going to take it slow for just a bit longer. So slide the feet back into fabric. We're sitting up. The knees are a little bit bent, so the heels need to slide in just a little bit. And then knees fall open into the fabric however wide they can. Reach the hands through the front and let the spine round forward. This gives that low back an extra bonus stretch. Good. So sitting back up, get yourself to a space where you can see me for just a moment. I'm going to show you where we're going to. It'll kind of be approaching it from where we're at currently, but go ahead and peek. This one's going to be a nice little hip opener to get us moving into that area of our body. So where my feet were straight before, I need to walk them in just a little bit so that I have some of this excess fabric to bring over my shins. Once I've done that, so my feet just slid in a little bit, I'm coming through the outside with my grip. My hands are reaching up as high as my arms are. And with that grip, I get to lift my hips up and I'm pulling myself into this nice hip opener. I'm hooking my elbows and just letting my weight fall forward. So that'll be the little hip opener we're going into. So feet go in just enough to kind of cover shins. And then pull yourself up, the knees rest wide, and you're hooking elbows to lean forward with your weight. So it's kind of similar if you've done frog pose in yoga. It kind of feels like that. You might naturally want to keep the hips back. See how much you can bring your pelvis forward and the toes back instead. That's it. You look like you almost had it there for just a moment. Yeah. That's it. Yeah. There's like moments where you're getting into it. Yeah. Good. Let's try to take 2 more breaths if you're doing okay with this. Good. And then slip your hands back up to grab. Glutes sit down behind. We're going to prepare for vampire after this. So depending on where you sat down, you're like, no, I want to stay. That's okay. You can stay if you want to. If you find the perfect pose for your body, just stay. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, so going to vampire, those of us that want to, if your glutes end up too far back when you sat just a moment ago, you'll need to kind of inch your glutes a little further forward so you do have enough to do a complete covering of the fabric over your shoulders. So kind of adjust as needed. You don't want to have too much excess on your shoulders, but you do want to have enough to completely cover them. So whether you have to go forward, backward, whatever you need to do to make that work, get yourself in that spot. The feet, have them covered with some of the excess fabric. And then hands grip high left and right. Feet come up through the center, push out into left and right strands to rise upside down. Let's add just a small little touch of that speeding up. So once you're upside down in the vampire, you're going to pike your toes in front of you, flatten out briefly, and then roll back up to vampire. So you'll kind of go back and forth. The nest doesn't look too bad, but I would almost cover your shoulders a teeny bit more if you come up for just a moment. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Yeah. Okay, good. I was like, you were right at the edge of the safety. Good. So I'll let that roll. It's kind of, yeah, you go to the pike shape and then flatten out like you're flying upside down, and then try to pike your way back upright. I'll let the reps of that be up to you again. So maybe you're trying to go for 5 total before you just relax in vampire. Or maybe more, maybe less. Maybe it's upright. What you got?
I'm just nervous.
Just nervous?
Yeah, I'm so scared of it.
I'll slide you.
Not this one. I can't tell you why I'm so scared of it.
Yeah.
It is a weird feeling, right?
So try first, bring the feet back up. Try to bring the hips to stack a little more. Yeah, right there. Yeah. So that I think will feel better. So bring your nose. Try to bring them forward this way. So yeah, feel how your hips just like slightly behind so that you can balance forward. Go all the way to the point where, yep, just like that, and flatten. And then come back up. So hips just a little bit behind shoulders. Like that. You got it. That's it. You're looking great. Yeah, you're welcome. Anybody else need a spot? I'm happy to come by.
Yeah.
Okay, yep.
Okay, so here's the pike. Am I in it?
Yep, you're there.
Okay.
Try to flatten out like you're trying to gaze at the ground.
Oh.
That's it.
Oh.
Yep, and then hips come back to the pike. Yep, and then try to lift the toes up.
Lift the toes.
Yep.
All the way up.
Back up to down.
Okay.
Yep. You got it.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Whenever you're satisfied with reps, by the way, you can either just stay in vampire a little longer or go to a little mini shavasana. I'll let it do. Yeah, see, there's a moment when your core, you're totally safe. You're totally safe. It'll catch you. But sometimes there's that moment when the core is like, oh, I didn't quite have that one. Let's do one more rep to see if we can get all the way through.
It's just the flipping part.
It takes a little bit of practice before you're like your body just knows kind of how to do it.
It's safe.
Yeah, before your body trusts that you're not gonna die.
Yeah.
That's true too. Yeah, look at that. So when you get the full sequence pretty quick, it kind of feels like a jackknife. It's like you just can flatten up and then flatten out, and then flatten up and then flatten out.
It's really cool. I've never done that one.
Yeah, kind of fun. Notice how that one does pick up the heart rate again. So if you're about that point just to be in vampire, that's great. If you're about that point just to be in shavasana, this just helps me kind of keep tabs on everybody, see how everybody's doing. I don't want to rush anybody out of inversion time, but I also don't want to just, stay there if most of the class is ready to go. So you guys get to play for a little while until you're ready to just relax. Head can slide back in for shavasana. Awesome. We're about that point. Most people are out. So I'll let you tell me when you're about ready to move on based on when you come up to a seated place. So when you're seated, that's telling me, I think I'm safe to move on. As long as you're still laying back in shavasana, that's telling me I need a little bit more recovery time. We just did something intense and something upside down. Okay, so from upright, let's give our body one more huge breath in and out. Perfect. Let's head out of the fabric. Hands grab on left and right. Lift the hips. Here we are standing. Let's flip fabric out in front of us. Grab on about as wide as shoulders, if not slightly wider. Let's allow upper body to come forward. We'll start to sway left and right. I kind of tend to like it when I just go inches at first. So a little bit past the mat on the right and the left. And then eventually I'll start to pick it up a little bit to the point where I'm maybe taking a full sway to front door, full sway to back door. It's like we're preparing the body to come back to one of those faster moments. Hurry up. Good. Let's slow it back down through the center. Eventually, it's like a pendulum slowing down. Eventually, we'll find that stillness right in the middle. So at that angle, take a huge breath in. Out. Soft bend of knees to roll up. Beautiful. So we're going to take a stretch or two, and then we're going to head into one of those more intense sections of class. So the stretch or two first. Step the right foot into the middle of the fabric. First, it's going to be just a nice hip opener. So the right knee is bent. The knee is bending its way past where the end of the fabric is. And then we're swiveling it open into a prep for a pigeon pose. So the left hand grabs that right heel. Because the knee is past the end of the fabric, it should kind of keep the grip of the fabric. If your knee doesn't like flat, like mine is happy with, you don't have to go flat. It can be angled a little higher. Just listen to your knee. The grip is just nice and easy grip. I usually go shoulder height, and it doesn't take much, just 2 or 3 inches sinking forward to help some of those really deep connections right in the glute start to stretch out. Let's give that area a couple of good breaths. Okay, weight comes over standing leg. As the knee comes back up, the foot should naturally slide back into the center. Let's take a moment for hamstrings. So leg lengthens out. Some days it's all I want to do is just slide down. Heart gets closer to thigh. Other days I'm ready for more of a split. So hands go up and I can sink as much weight to mirror as I want to. You get to choose. This one, 3 more breaths. Try to keep them slow and deep. And one more huge inhale. Exhale. Weight comes back over standing leg. This right knee bends. We're going to come up to stand and step the left foot inside also. So note, if you don't use your core to stand, you're going to be swinging like crazy the whole time. So both feet end up stepping inside. Okay, we're doing a little cycle here from standing. The first part of the cycle is bending the hips down. Second part is straighten legs out to pike. Third part is arm strength, takes us back up to stand. Good. Let's see if we can do 4 more of those. Down, straighten legs, and up. Another 3. Keep breathing the whole time. 2. Good. And 1. Note, I like to keep the grip higher just because otherwise it feels a little bit more unsteady. So if it felt unsteady at all, just keep the grip higher next time. Okay, so shift your weight back to right foot being standing. Left foot's now kicking in front through that center. Good. We're gripping on tight. What we're gonna try to do is flip to be the top of our right foot into the fabric as we lower down in front. Good. If you don't quite get there, that's okay. Stand in front and get your right foot in. That's the cheater's way, and it totally counts. You're okay. Yeah. See, I think that counts. It counts. You're close enough.
Here. Got it.
Yeah, you just have to turn your body. Yeah, perfect. Okay, we're here. So just easy quad stretch. Fabric rest on the back side of each shoulder. Just lean your body weight backwards. What that does is the right knee gets pulled backwards, so that right quad gets a breath. A moment to catch our breath before we go to the next strengthening thing. So purposely go a little slow. More inhale. Exhale. Weight comes over standing leg. If balance is decent, hands just go to heart. If balance is not decent, grip to low back area instead. So this is going to be lunge shape with our legs. Both legs are bent and we're lunging the foot and the fabric back. We're going for 10. I slide my hands open like balance beam to help me out. 10, and then squeeze everything back up. 9. Back up. 8. 7, good catch. Here's 6. 5. 4. 3. 2. And 1. Good work. Let's go to splits. Hands drop down to floor. Both legs straighten out. Sometimes I can walk my hands backwards a little bit. That's however much your legs will go. Good, and then transitioning from this to pigeon. So hands plant firmly. That left knee gently lowers to ground, swivel the toes in, lower to elbows. So these chances we have to just go slow, how much of a contrast it is. Chance to catch the breath. Chance to really tune in. How is my energy level? Know that you can always skip reps. If that's what you need to do, I'm never gonna shame you for it. Take 2 more huge breath cycles. Let's take a nice easy child pose. So the knees head out, sink the hips backwards. This just gives our hips a little reset before we go on to the second side. Forehead, see if it can rest down so we don't keep that cranked tension in the neck. One more breath flows in, out. Okay, we're gonna work our way up to standing. You can either do just nice and easy for your body, like a down dog to roll up, or if you're adding a little bit of arm strength in, you can grip, plant the feet in front, add a couple of pull-ups before you're all the way up. Personal preference. Whenever you're up, sooner or later, left foot gets stepped into the center. And first, it's all about that hip opener. So remember, the left knee needs to go past where the fabric is in the center. That'll keep hold of it. Right hand grabs the heel, slip the foot up as much as the knee's happy with. It's an easy grip by the shoulders. 2 inches sinking forward is all it really takes. Breathe into some of those deep muscle groups. I love this one, especially in contrast with the pigeon pose on the floor. Going on the floor to me is more about the focus of the back leg and how I can help those muscles stretch out. For me, this one gets more into this front glute. Just 2 beautiful ways to be with the body. Take the weight back over standing leg. Allow the foot to slip back to center and straighten out. Either bow forward, sliding hands down, or slide hands up and splits forward. Also notice the contrast of this splits to the one we'll do in just a moment where the hands are on the floor. It's a very different focus and a different use of gravity. So that's what this slowing down helps me with. It helps me to notice, wow, where am I actually feeling it? It's like both of them are splits or both of them are pigeon poses, but notice how different they can be. So 2 more cycles of breath. After that second one, we're preparing to stand both feet inside. So the knees bent, hands grip high. We're trying to use core and leg strength so we're not swinging like crazy the whole time. Both feet step in. You don't have to take all 5 reps if you don't want to. You can skip some, but keeping grip higher rather than lower. Bend the glutes down. Straighten legs forward, arm strength to pull back up. 5. Maybe going for number 4. Keep breath flowing. 4. And 3. 2. 1. Good work. Make sure hands are safe to do that little grip for the foot flip. If you need to ever wiggle them out, that's fine. The right leg kicks forward. That's going to be the one that lands on the ground. We have to hold tight enough for a moment that we can flip left to land in front. Good, you were super close. Good job. Yeah, there you go. There you go. Just catch that left foot. Perfect. We all got there. The shoulders, armpits, elbows are free. We grip over each shoulder. It's just the act of leaning backwards. This gets us into that quad stretch. Couple of moments to catch breath before we do our lunges. That'll be the last hard thing of the day, by the way. Everything else nice and slow, nice and easy for the body. I guess unless you're doing the pull-ups to take you back up to standing, then there's one more thing after this. One more inhale. Nice exhale. Okay, so preparing for the lunges. Our weight is over our standing leg. If we can, if we can balance without, we're bringing hands to heart. If you need help with the balance, grip to low back area. So either is fine. And the lunges, we're kicking both knees to a bent shape, weight back, and back up to start. 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good work. Dropping hands to floor, both legs straighten out, splits. I'll walk my fingers back as much as I have the flexibility for. Some days it's better, some days worse, it's all good. Just go 2 more breaths. And plant the hands. Right knee comes down to pigeon, lower to elbows. Good work. Really sinking into those hips, the fruit of our kind of reward of the class. Just getting some time to be. Notice again that contrast. This is one I feel largely in the psoas, especially if I'm keeping the back leg very straight. The back knee bent brings it more into that quad. Just notice the slightest shift completely changes the experience. Good. Let's take one more huge inhale. Exhale. And we'll ease down into a child's pose. Both knees can lower. Sink back. Perhaps it feels nice to stretch the arms forward. And this is where we'll start to come back up to a standing place. So again, if you want to do the easier, you can just go through down dog and roll up. If you want to go through the last set of pull-ups, go ahead and get the feet planted. Use some of the arm strength, last chance for some of that if you want it. Work. Come up to the mirror side top of the fabric. Grab the front end and wave it out as if we're about to head inside. We've got a bonus stretch first though. So slipping elbows inside. We're taking the elbows up at least as high as the shoulders, if not slightly higher. And then this is going to be up to you to bring yourself into a shoulder stretch, whatever this is. So some people just walk forward and then kind of arch the body. I like to do a lunge. So right foot will go forward, left foot back. And you'll notice it's slightly different if you try to lean forward versus stack upright and lower the hips down. So just find something that opens up your pecs, your shoulders, those areas in a really good way. Take 2 more breaths for this first half. And then we'll step the feet together, slide the elbows in, let the head do some half circles, maybe 2 full rounds, rocking head back and forth between right shoulder and left shoulder. Okay, we'll go into it one more time. If you're doing a lunge, it's left foot forward. And then just ease the body open, feel that chest space open. Perhaps contrasting a lot of the hunched forward position we've taken this week. Another huge inhale. Exhale. Lift the feet back together. I'm readjusting how my hands are so the thumbs stay inside the fabric. The other 4 fingers are free. This is what's going to get me into the center of fabric. So your goal is centered like your normal spot. So for me, that's about the 5 grips. If you have tiny hands, maybe do 6 or 7. We're heading in all the way to a seated place. And I'll show you a little inversion that starts from the hip opener that we practiced earlier. So this one's one it's usually best to watch first, and then usually I need to help at least 1 or 2 people out. So I'll pop out and help out if needed. So remember the start of earlier was the legs were in, but then I stepped the feet forward a little bit so that I had a little bit to cover up my shins. So it's the same setup, and then the hands bunch up the fabric on the outside so that I can come to this wide place here, kind of kneeling nice and wide. Remember again, some body weight forward feels a little bit more stable than trying to, hold your core and hold your strength back. So hips forward will help a lot with the balance. Now what I need to do, kind of like vampire pose, is bring the fabric behind me onto my shoulders. So I do this just one hand at a time for balance. So take some of it on shoulder and then re-grip for safety. Take some of the other side over shoulder, re-grip for safety. You need to do that adjusting a couple of times, that's fine. And then think of it like vampire. You do need to cover the shoulders like a cap sleeve. I'm gripping close to where my neck is so that it's kind of tight across the base of my neck. And from here, all you have to do is bend forward and turn it into vampire. You've got a nice hip opener, a nice shoulder opener. You're upside down and it just feels amazing. So rolling out, all you have to do is just grab on the fabric on each side and then just slip back in. So nice and easy. I'll be there. If you feel nervous at all, just call me over before you go into it and I'll spot to make sure everything looks good. So your legs are in from a seated place, but you have to step them in just a little bit. So like 1 foot forward and then the knees go wide. From there, hands need to go on the outside, grabbing the whole thing. Grip up high enough. Knees are trying to open wide into the fabric. Good. And then pull yourself up. That spot where we were earlier. Set the hips a little bit forward so you don't have to use arm strength so much. Good. One hand at a time. We'll need to get the fabric covering a shoulder. And then the other hand cover the shoulder. You'll have to use your arm strength. You'll have to use your one hand at a time to just help with the balance. Good. Yeah. Kind of kneel open into it. And even if you just want to practice the first one, just practice the kneeling open part. That's okay. Good, good. I know it feels super funky to adjust anything, so you're doing good. You look really good. You're almost there. So let's just take this fabric. I know it's just super hard to adjust it yourself. Thank you. Okay. Yeah, your hands will need to be on the front side before you go into it. Okay. So elbows forward. Just take it over your shoulders instead of head. Yes, grip a little closer to your neck. And your elbows will need to be forward. That's okay. That's the scary part. Yes. Yep. Just like grip a little closer. Yep. You're safe to go down. I know that's okay. Take little breaks here if you need to. Okay, you're super close. Just grab. Make this a little tighter. So your elbows are forward. Good. Keep it covered. I know that's the chest part. A little funky. Just hold. Yeah. Yes.
Like this.
If you can get your knees back, yeah, that'll work. That'll work. Yep, and then just elbows need to be in front of fabric.
Elbows.
Elbows, yeah.
Elbows.
Yep.
Right,
Amazing. That's it.
That's it.
That's
Then
it.
I just dive forward.
You just dive forward. So grip up high here, so you can keep it covered. Yeah. Okay. Just relax.
I'm not sure if I'm.
Okay.
Sorry. Am I right here? I can't.
You look amazing. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. Uh-huh. The fabric, I usually like, I think coming out funkified it, but I think it'll still work. So I'll spot your shoulders. Covered.
Oh,
Yep.
I just
There
found
you
it.
go. You're there?
Oh,
Yep.
thank you.
You're welcome. You happy or do you want to try?
Friends to prison here.
Just keep the hips just keep relaxed.
It's not all about you. Oh, right.
You can actually like No, you're good. You're good. So depending on your tolerance for the hip opener and the inversion at this point, you may be like ready to be in Shavasana, so that's fine. It's about that time, so you can set yourself up. If you're like loving this inversion, take a little bit more time. You're welcome to just enjoy it. And then as the more the hips go over the shoulders, the more you feel the hip opener. But if you're really enjoying that spot, that's okay. So kind of bend. Right now your legs are trying to go straight. Try to bend your waist. Yeah. Hips just a little bit back. More. That's it. That's okay. That works too. It's like it looked fine if you liked how it was opening it, but
I want it.
yeah. You'd have to go back up, yeah. So yeah, basically this point is just playtime or Shavasana when you're ready, up to you. Okay, that's fine, go for it. this nice slow quality is what we continue on with as we begin to introduce movements back to our body. We'll start off with just a huge, slow, deep breath in and out. Start to introduce good movements back to the body, fingers and toes, ankles and wrists. Maybe taking some of those initial stretches we did at the beginning of class, or maybe taking a fetal position, keep the body long, but roll onto one side body. From there, you can curl in like a tight little ball and arch the spine back. Bring that 2 or 3 good times. Usually if I'm doing fetal, I'll switch to the second side, nice and easy, nice and slow, taking a few to the other direction as well. Feel like you've returned. Let's take our way back up to a comfortable seated place. Hands at the heart. Thinking of that intention, hurry up and slow down. What does our body need? Where is our balance most strongly toward? Are we more toward the black or more toward the white? How can we be a little bit more balanced between those qualities? So with this fun class, and with that idea to help lead us on, let's wrap up the time we shared together today with the sound of Om. Deep inhale now. Om. May we be filled with light and happiness and peace. Namaste.